Okay, let's make sure audio's working. Okay, let's make sure. All right, guys. You know, what better way to get some therapy for your NFL team than jumping into Madden franchise and trying to fix it. So here we are. I took last week was really like a one live stream, 2 days off from me. I did the superstar mode, got back into that. But I'm getting back into the Cowboys rebuild. And I'm hungry to get this team rebuilt and back into a Super Bowl championship team. Last year, we made it back to the playoffs after we went 4-13 the first year, but we lost in the wild card round in Minnesota on a last-second touchdown pass by J.J. McCarthy. So we're here in 2027 with a team that hopefully can go a little bit farther. So let's take a look at our roster for year number 3. Carson Beck is still going to be our backup for Dak Prescott. He's here at an 85 overall. Our running back, Jeremiah Love, coming off of a pretty solid rookie season, is now up to an 86. We got a 77 Jaden Blue. Jaheim White is a 72. We still have Phil Maffa, but he's down to 69. Don't know how much longer I'm going to keep him here. Fullback, we still have Hunter Lipke. He's back, 76 overall, fullback. CeeDee Lamb is a 96. 87 George Pickens, who, of course, we have on a new contract. Ryan Wingo is a rookie we drafted out of Texas. He is a 79 overall. We got a 75 Kevontae Turpin, and we have Jalen Wayne, and we have A. Terrell. So that is our receiving core for this year. Jake Ferguson is our starting tight end again. We got a 72 Will Dissly to get some good tight end depth. Mark Soto is a rookie we drafted out of Clemson. I'm hoping he can develop a little bit in the near future. Clay Rayner, rookie out of Virginia, as well. So we drafted a couple of tight ends. Judd Bowery, who we drafted last year, but he sat behind Tyler Guyton. I've given up on Tyler Guyton. Bowery is going to be our new starting left tackle this season. Although it's 77 overall, I'm hoping he can get up to the 80s at some point this season. And Nate Thomas is still going to back him up. Left guard Tyler Smith is basically one of the best in the NFL right now. 91 overall. Joshua Gray is a 63. He's going to back him up. Center, we have Cooper Beebe at 78 overall. We have a 66 Danny Pinter who's going to back him up. And we have an 85 Tyler Booker now. Cash Cleveland, my guy out of Texas Tech. We drafted him this year. He's a 74 overall. Right tackle is Taylor Motton, who's an 82 overall. A 67 Cornelius is going to back him up still. And we have Jason Ivey going to back him up as a third guy. Donovan Ezraku is up to an 82 overall right now. He's no Micah Parsons, but he's helpful in a sense that it looks like he's finally starting to turn the corner. Mohamed Kamara is a guy we signed really for depth. He's injured right now, but he's our other backup edge rusher. Peter Woods had a decent year last year, but the good thing is that we have respectable edge rushers now. We got two 82s with Peter Woods as well, who we drafted the previous year, and Marshawn Nealon is still going to back him up. Kenny Clark is still here, 11 years strong in the league, 83 overall. We got an 80 Oso Diazua still here. Damon Capehart didn't really get a whole lot of action last season as one of our draft picks, but maybe he'll find his way more into the rotation this year. And we still have Jay Toa as the fourth defensive tackle on the roster. Kind of did a little bit of an overhaul this offseason with the Sam linebackers. Now, Gabe Jacas, who we drafted last season, he had some good moments playing this year. Maris Leofau is still here, but I'm going to give Jacas the starting job over him at the Sam linebacker position. Chris Barnes is coming back for a second season. Is he a bridge player at this point? Yes, he is at 74 overall, but he was one of the only middle linebackers that was a decent middle linebacker that we could afford based on our cap situation. J.D. Bertrand is going to back him up at 70 overall, and Victor Barton, a rookie out of Miami we drafted. Hopefully he can develop because then again, I don't know how much longer Barnes will be here. Bertrand may be here I might try to keep him for a little bit just for depth purposes. Will linebacker DeMarvion Overshown is banged up, but he's a 78 overall coming into this year. Shamar James is developing a little bit to a 72. Josh Sanchez is a 62. So our linebacking core, we don't have anybody in the 80s, but hopefully Jacas will get up to be in the 80s club by the time we get to the middle part of the season. Deron Bland is an 89 overall. Trayvon Diggs is an 85. I don't know when I'm going to pull the trigger and possibly look at trading Trayvon Diggs for some more draft picks or talent. But 85 overall is still deeming pretty solid as far as a good cornerback tandem to go alongside Deron Bland. Ravel, 78 overall. Carson is a 73. We got a 70 Bridges, and Robert Longbeam, 70 overall. So decent depth at corner. Petrich is our top draft pick this year. First round pick out of Minnesota, 80 overall starting out as a rookie is pretty damn good. So I'm hoping that we can finally solve the Malik Hooker conundrum and we can have our starting free safety. Now, we did sign Justin Simmons this offseason, and I'm really looking for him to hopefully be that decent backup, bridge sort of player in case maybe Parrish doesn't perform very well. That's what I'm hoping happens, but we'll just see when the season begins and what we can do. So Marquise Bell is still here, probably going to be his last year as a backup guy at 74 overall. Ricardo Jones is another guy we drafted out of Clemson to be our starting strong safety, 74 overall. We really did a massive overhaul with both the safety position. We no longer have Donovan Wilson or Malik Hooker, so Parrish is going to be his first year, is going to be the starter for this year as a rookie, with Simmons being the backup. Jones is going to be our starter. I'm going with the rookie. We still have Ronnie Harrison Jr. still here, but and we have Xavier Nwaka, who was a rookie, who was one of our rookies last year, but still stuck at a 69 overall. I went with the guy that was Ricardo Jones. I figured that'd be a good idea. Brandon Aubrey is still here, and J.K. Scott is now our punter. And we still have Trent Sieg as our long snapper, although that doesn't really matter too much. So as far as our roster is concerned, we have 59 players. We really don't have a lot of cap space anyway. So we're just going to kind of go with what we have and go ahead and go through it. I'm not going to bother with like training camp and all that type of stuff. Let's just kind of get through the preseason and get to the regular season part of everything and see what we can get done here. So we won our first preseason game against the Patriots, and now we're going up against the Broncos in week 2 of the preseason as we get ready for the regular season. And we lost to the Broncos by 1 point, and we have a new injury as well. So Ravel has an upper arm fracture. He's out for 2 to 4 weeks, while our third corner being banged up is not good. And Xavier, who not that bad. It's a week-to-week injury. He's got a dislocated wrist, but he's our third strong safety, so I'm not too concerned about that. And we've got the Bills to wrap up the preseason in Buffalo, and we'll start to trim down the roster. We got a new ability unlock, but we lost to the Bills. So now we got to cut 6 players. Do we have enough skill points to spend based on what we have, or no? Let's see. We got 14 points right now. What can I do with? Can I do any upgrades with Schottenheimer right now? No, we need 15 points for that. Okay, so we need 15 points for the next one. And by the way, the approval rating that I have with Brian Schottenheimer is way better than when we started. I had to taper with the settings a little bit in the first season because our approval rating was really, really bad. But we've got a different staff this season. We have Aaron Glenn, who we hired as our defensive coordinator. I'm really hoping that is going to help this defense make the jump. Tucker Austin is our offensive coordinator. I'm going to stick with him because his approval rating is still very good at 76. And Aaron Glenn for 50 is average. So I'm hoping that with the players, Schottenheimer's in pretty good shape. Media is better. Fans are not really that great. But then again, we haven't won in the postseason yet, and that's what we're trying to do in year 3. At this point, it's kind of what the fans are expecting of us. So we have to cut players. This is obviously kind of trimming some of the fat here. I'm going to move Maffa to the practice squad. Might risk that, but we're going to have to do that. Hopefully we can get him back. And our rookie, Eddie Terrell, I'm going to move him to the practice squad as well. How many receivers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well, we have 5 receivers, so I'd like to keep 5 active if we can. Clay Rayner, our rookie. You know what? Honestly, I know I'm just going to move him to practice squad. I don't want to cut him just yet. Mark Soto was a reach anyway with us as far as tight ends, but I want to keep 3 tight ends active. Signing Will Dissly was definitely necessary just based on how lackluster our tight end room is. And with Ivy, I'm actually just going to go straight up cut him. We're not really deep with edge rushers, so we really can't cut anybody. I'm going to move Toa to the practice squad. Keep what we have active right there. Mike linebackers. I don't want to move Victor Barton to the practice squad. That might be a risk. Sanchez, though, I'm going to move him to the practice squad for sure. Okay. So let's advance to next week and get ready for the regular season. I mean, we have kind of around the same type of team going into this season. So I'm just hoping that there's not too much of a big-time drop-off and that we miss the playoffs, but we will see. So 2028 draft. I want to see if there's any file that's got that. It's hard to tell at this point. Top ones. Ooh. Oh, wait, that is 2028. Yeah, that's 2028. Let's see what type of players this has. This is the first time I've gotten into 2028 season in this mode, so let's see. Let's go to quarterbacks. CJ Carr, Bryce Underwood from Michigan. Okay, so they got a couple of maybe some accurate players in here. Quincy Shaw from Toledo. I feel like I recognize that. Malik Washington from Maryland. That sounds familiar. Then again, some of these players are like young players that are starting in college, but they're not like well-known guys. Running backs, don't really recognize any of these guys. Okay, but I know that Bryce Underwood was a starting quarterback from Michigan, so that's going to have to be good enough. And it's the top 2028 related file, so I'm just going to go with that in terms of the draft class. Well, our week one opponent is the New Orleans Saints. We're starting the regular season at an 86 overall. We got an 89 offense and an 84 defense. I'm just hoping that the signing of Aaron Glenn is really going to help this defense out because our last defensive coordinator, which was basically the fake Matt Eberflus, his approval rating was so far down that I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to keep him. I think it was definitely time to move on in that regard, so that will help. So Ravel is starting off the season with a week-to-week injury with an upper arm fracture, so he's not quite ready to go yet against the Saints. But let's simulate to the middle of the season and see where we are at. This is always kind of the tough part because you just never know, and injuries can always cripple a team. That Bears game was a complete disaster today. This team is just horrible in real life. But that's why I'm playing Madden. All right. Okay, well, we've started off okay. We're 4-3. Our approval rating hasn't dropped down at all. It's actually gone up to 43%. With the players, we're actually at 81%. We're 74 with the media, and we're starting to go up a little bit with the general manager. Coaching staff, though, 22%. But then again, we've got a new defensive coordinator here, so there's still some adjustments to be made there. Fans are still pretty down at like 22%. It looks like we had the game of the week this past week. We beat the Jets 31-17, which is pretty good. Standings-wise in the NFC East, well, the Eagles are 6-0. So they're going to be the team that's to beat in the division. The Commanders, though, were 2-5. They've gotten off to a rocky start, needless to say. All right, well, let me check the injury report and see if we've got any new injuries that we picked up. Well, we picked up a bunch of them. But they're not too serious. Broken ribs, though, for Osa Diazua is pretty bad. But we still have Kenny Clark out there. Pinter, who's our backup center, is week-to-week with turf toe. And we got a broken finger for the third tight end, Mark Soto. So that's not good for, a young rookie trying to get his way. So we've got a Sunday night game against the Commanders at home. See if we can win another one here. Beat them. And we lose to the Commanders actually by, looks like 11, so not great. And we also picked up a new injury. Jaden Blue is week-to-week with an ACL sprain, broken ribs still for Osa. And Tyler Smith has a dislocated hip and he's out 3 to 7 weeks. Goodness gracious. Well, I got to go to free agency and see if there's any left guards out here that are maybe not that bad. Oh, well, Cordell Volson doesn't look too bad. Let's bring him on. We need some help. Okay, we were able to sign him. We're not over the cap, so that's good. Of course, it means we're going to have to cut a player. But yeah, we definitely needed to do that because now we've got a 74 left guard as opposed to putting Josh Gray in there. So that helps out a little bit. Let's see here. We don't have a lot of depth at linebacker. Corners are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 corners. I like to keep 6 active. Cure a penalty, so I'm not going to do that with Bell. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. And there'll be a penalty, so if I can't cut him either. Kind of slim pickings in terms of that, and we only have 2 active running backs right now. I don't think I'm going to go out and sign one. I don't think I can do that. Mark Soto. If he's not going to get above a 60 at any point in the season, I mean, I know he's only a rookie, but still. And of course, we only have 2 defensive tackles that are active right now. Okay, Victor Barton. He's a rookie, so I can't cut him. Will linebacker. I'm just going to have to cut Bridges. No penalties, so had to do it. I'm only going to have 5 corners for this next game coming up. We're 4-4. We're going against 3-4 Giants. We're still second in the NFC East. But Eagles don't show. Well, I mean, they lost their first game of the season this past week, actually. I just kind of spoke too soon. I was going to say there's nobody going to stop them. But they're the team that we got to worry about winning the division at this point. So this game against the Giants is still pretty big because they beat us, the tie, they're 1 game ahead of us, and it's not good. And we lose to the Giants. And our approval rating has dropped now to 39, so it's bad. Deemed bad, and now we're at 4-5. Commanders have won a couple of games in a row, so now we've slipped all the way to right now 4th in our division. Things are not looking great. We got players that are ready to negotiate. I haven't even really been checking this. I should have. Cooper Beebe, but we're minus $40 million in cap space, so we can't do anything with anybody. Kenny Clark's deal is up too. Jeez. I can't make any of these decisions until the end of the season. Got to get out of the negative. It really stinks. Going against the Raiders this week. We beat the Raiders, so we won by 3. We're still at a bad approval rating, but we've got back to 5-5, so we're back at 500. And we're once again playing the Giants. It's really arguably a must-win in order for us to stay in the playoff hunt. I might have to start taking control at this point already in the season, and we lose to the Giants. So, yeah, we're 5-6, and we've got to play the best team in football this week in the Eagles. And we beat the Eagles in an upset. Wow, okay, that's huge. We still got a bad approval rating, but okay, that was pretty big. That was probably a determination of whether we might be a playoff team or not. So Tyler Smith is about to come back from his dislocated hip injury. We have turf toe for Muhammad, and Jeremiah Love has a dislocated hip 3 to 7 weeks. Okay, well. What's our depth chart right now for running backs? Love out. So blue, I think, is just okay. We still have enough. We still have Jaheim White, who we drafted last year. So we're gonna have Jaden Blue be the starter for a little bit here. We've had some injuries this season that I guess have kind of really taken their toll. Well, 3 to 7 weeks for the home run part of the season with having our starting running back out is definitely not ideal. Fortunately, we do have a bye week. It's 6-6. We are not in the playoff picture at all. Not surprised. All right, well, let's advance through the bye week. And we have another game against the Eagles. So we have 2 games against them in 3 weeks. Schedule makers, what are you doing? We're still 3rd in the division. The Eagles are 10-2. How many more games do we have left in the regular season? I mean, we only have a few left. I got to play this game and try to win it. I gotta try to play this game and win it. So let's take this week seriously. Let's go to the film room and let's take a look at maybe some goals that we can achieve. Get that approval rating up.
Film rooms are the forum where strategies are discussed and victories are born. Each person there has a voice and a chance to step forward with what they believe is the key to this week's game.
What are you seeing in the film? Game plan from what I think is a very suspect linebacking group. We can attack that. Work the seam or sit in the middle of the field. We can pick them apart. Okay? Take one guy, second level for us to get chunk plays. We just have to play confident. Okay? Do you agree on targeting their linebackers? I'm going to agree. Keep that approval rating up with my staff. I'll get the practices lined up. Let's get to it, Coach. Okay.